Futures trading involves risk and is not suitable for all investors. Content provided in this segment is meant for educational purposes and is not a solicitation to buy or sell commodities.
Hello and welcome to the August 9th edition of Basis Loaded with Joe Schmit. I am Joe Schmit. As always, this episode is produced by Paige Driscoll, August 9th, but it's feeling like fall here in the upper Midwest. Lows in the low 60s, highs in the low 80s. What better way to celebrate than with the latest from the NDPSR report, starting with butter. This butter number coming in at 263.51 represents a -2 to the CME 1-week average of 265.40. -2 is below our expected basis. However, butter, in my opinion, performed quite well. The CME up 9.5 cents week to week. NDPSR able to gain 9.3, and that's with 33 loads trading at the CME. So big volume at the CME. Basis holds essentially steady on a big gain at the CME. What's even more interesting is with that big gain at the CME, volume coming in some 300,000 pounds above our expected 3.5 million. So all in all, respectable basis on higher than expected volume. I'd have to call that a win for the butter manufacturer. And up next is our cheese complex, starting with blocks. This block number at 170.41 is a really nice price considering the CME 1-week average was 163.35. As I mentioned in butter, the NDPSR was able to move step for step with the changes that we're seeing at the CME. The block actually performed a little bit better to achieve that 170.41 NDPSR printed price. The CME was up 15 cents week to week. The NDPSR moved 16.5, going from 153.91 to 170.41. +7 is an outsized basis for the block. And when you consider the rapid ascension in prices at the CME, to maintain that +7 positive basis was even more impressive. At that +7, the manufacturer was able to move even a little bit over our expected volume, about 138,000 over our expected 12.5 million. 2 loads only traded at the CME last week, so not a whole lot to help out there. All in all, outstanding basis considering the movement at the CME and a little bit better than expected volume. In the barrels, 165.44. This is also a respectable number. That 165.44 is essentially a flat basis to the CME 2-week average of 165.32. The CME 2-week average moved 19.5 cents to achieve that 165.32 level. The NDPSR able to move 17 cents. So the prices at the CME are reflected here on the NDPSR. The only difference with this barrel complex, flat basis a little bit lower than our expected 4 to 6 over, and this volume about 2 million pounds under our expected 13.5. So buyers turn their nose up at the higher values at the CME, at least in the barrel complex, not in the block and butter complexes. But in the barrel, buyers said no mas, low volume on a lower than expected basis in the barrels. Up next, whey, 24.69. That's essentially our flat basis to the CME 1-week average of 24.65. We traded a paltry 7 loads of whey at the CME last week. 24.69 is down about half a penny from last week's average, and the manufacturer had to discount almost a full penny under the July 22nd NDPSR value to move weight this week. And the volume that they were able to move significantly lower than recent weeks, however, much higher than our expected 4.5 million, coming in at 5.6 million. So that way, that was probably a lower than expected price, judging by the futures. but the manufacturer is still moving a lot of weight and staying current, which is impressive. And then lastly, non-fat, 114.07. That represents a +3 to the CME 1-week average of 110.80. 110.80 at the CME was the first week off of the complex's lows, and the NDPSR followed suit, also gaining a penny. Good volume here on the NDPSR at that 114 level. The manufacturer was able to move north of 23 million pounds. All in all, I'd have to say that's an impressive week relative to the benchmark at the CME for non-fat. So this is week 1 of the 4-week August pricing cycle. After this week, Basis Loaded will be taking a 2-week summer hiatus for both summer holiday and college drop-off. So we will not return until the final week of the NDPSR August pricing cycle on August 30th. But I am prepared to provide a roadmap for the August expiration. Currently getting an August Class 3 expiration of 1723 with an August Class 4 expiration of 1884. If you carry current CME equivalents out through the entire September 5-week pricing cycle, currently getting a September Class 3 of 18 even, September Class 4 of 19 even. So we have discounts in the Class 3 complex relative to current cash for September. We'll see what they have in store for us in the weeks to come. Thanks to Paige and the entire EverAg Insights team. See you in 3 weeks. Bye-bye. This episode of Basis Loaded was produced in cooperation with EverAg. At EverAg, we partner with every corner of the agriculture industry, from dairy to livestock, crops, and agribusiness, to deliver intelligent supply chain and risk management solutions. We are EverAg, everything agriculture. Learn more at www.ever.ag/everything.